Fyena is the first actual planet we visit during cosmic exploration. After we sorted out our base on the moon, built our ship the galactic way, and got our plan together, it was finally time to take to the stars, or more specifically, to Fyena. This is the sixth astral body in a star system named Ul-9, and it is apparently 3 carats from Etheris. Thank you, Lopreds, for your delightfully nonsensical measurement system. I have no idea what length a carat is in this. Whatever it means, this is a star with ample resources we require to expand our initiative to further reaches of space, so this is our destination. The main resource we are seeking out on Fyena, and is incidentally the planet's primary mineral, is silica. Silica is found on our planet, mostly as quartz or sand, and is the main ingredient in things like glass. On Fyena, however, silica dominates pretty much everything, forming the foundation of its water, clouds, magma, soil, flora, and even the fish-like life forms. Even when it rains, it is just raining molten glass. So understandably, this is a very hostile place to be on. So our first and most important step when arriving on Fyena is finding a place to set up our base of operation, one that will shelter us from the elements. With luck, we did find a cavern we have named the Glass-Blown Grotto. The current theory is that the cavern was long ago carved out by veins of hot molten glass before getting driven back by the geothermal fluctuations in the area, leaving us with these marble-like silicate structures around the cave. Not to mention a safe and sturdy cover to build under, and a large hole in the middle allowing us to land and take off on Galactic Way. So this is where we built our base, named the Glassblower's Beacon. We focused on building our most sensitive structures below the cover of the grotto's wall, while adding shielding to our equipment in hope of protecting it from the dangerous weather. And with our location picked, the first order of business was to start making this a sustainable home for us to live, with our focus on housing, transport, water, and energy. The Cosmoline was quickly set up, and over our time on Fyena, it was expanded, giving us access to places further away from our safe haven. But we found the planet is peculiar, even very close to home. Our first main area of exploration was Millefori. This area is covered in vibrant glass plants, and the name Millefori actually comes from the glassworking technique, which roughly translates to 1,000 flowers. And this brings us to the star's first notable peculiarity. The plants themselves are made out of glass. While our researchers do not fully understand how the plants work, they can confirm they are indeed plants. During examination, they found they have both pollen and seeds, like our plants back on Etheris, and they do take their energy from the sun through their glass structure in a way that we might say is kinda similar to photosynthesis, though it is not exactly identical. From these plants and the glass around us, we took inspiration for our own energy needs. Around Glassblower's Beacon, you can notice the beautiful stained glass on pretty much every building. And this is in fact not just for aesthetic purpose, though it is quite pretty. This particular glass has been named Phaenoglass, and it is made out of material unique to Fyena. It is scratch resistant to the frequent glass showers, and most importantly, like the plants of this world, it turns sunlight into energy. So naturally, our first step in our power production was adding this glass to pretty much every building requiring energy. And then of course to our power plant as well. This system kept us at mostly stable power levels until we could finally add our latest power addition to our initiative with the mecha panels. Before on the moon, we could use ether conversion panels, which turned ether into energy. And while that does work on Fyena, we have now expanded these panels into the mecha panels, which condense light from Fyena's sun into even more energy, pretty much solving all of our energy problems for now. This is both great for our future adventure to another star, but it also is very important because on Fyena we need a lot of energy, not just to fuel our homes and stations, but also to get water. Our first interaction with the water on Fyena was at the Soda Lime Float, a beautiful area which holds stunning water which is absolutely deadly to drink. After all, the water is made out of glass like everything else on this planet, and while you can definitely drink it once, I am not sure you will live to drink it a second time. To begin with, we of course had water with us when we went on our journey, and we also do have stable shipping lanes between Etheris and Fyena, but this is very inefficient, so instead we have found ways to use some heavy filtering to get all the water out of the glass water, making this filtered version safe for us to drink. This might be quite energy intensive, but it is still simpler than shipping the water here, and it will help us prepare for challenges even further away from the safety of our star, where shipping resources will become more and more complex over time with greater distances. So with water sorted, there was one other thing we noticed in our foray to the Soda Lime Float, and that is the local fish or fish-like creatures. Fyena doesn't have life as we know it. The plants are made out of glass, and while they do seem to be plants, there isn't anything we could really call animals here. There are the fish, or what we see as imitation of fish. These things are made out of glass. They are just silicate animated by dense amount of ether. So our researchers have come to the conclusion that these are more imitation of what would be animals than actually animals, giving them the name impactors. Though I personally do wonder, could they not just be real living things? After all, we ourselves are made out of dense ether, and perhaps we simply can't quite understand the peculiar nature of these impactors. But at the moment, the official conclusion is that these are not actual fish, instead fish imitation. I would actually like to hear your thoughts on it. But the star itself does hold more places of note. As we headed west from the Soda Lime Float, we entered an area known as the Saltpeter Shore. It's not quite a beach, but the material you see around us is in fact just glass eroded from larger pieces of glass from the bottom of the river. Personally, water is my favorite element when it comes to changing the landscape around it. It is slow working but persistent, and it will slowly and steadily change whatever it is in contact with, if you simply give it enough time. A great example of this is the rocks around Fyena. Have you noticed how much of the glass is not sharp, but instead smooth and rounded? This comes from contact with water over a very long period of time. The water slowly erodes away material and rounds out the glass. We can even find this type of glass on our own shores. If you were to walk down to the sea, you might just find what is called sea glass, which is glass which has spent some time in the sea, and when it washes up on shore, it is round and almost soft looking. This is just a small example of the effect we are seeing on the glass all around Fyena. On Fyena, most of the things we see took tens of thousands, if not millions of years to develop. Another location of note is the iridized rise. This rainbow step structure was formed by what was once small glass ponds, with each pond taking on the hue from different material elements within them. The glass-like water has long since evaporated, and what remained has solidified into the colorful terraced glass we see today. And if you look around, you might even spot that the plants that grow here take on the hue of the terrace they stand on, indicating that the color is affected by the material below. As our gatherers have noticed, different material come from different terraces, and it seems the color of the ground and the color of the plants actually shows that off. But not all places on Fyena were easy for us to access. Our first challenging location was the Capsule Chasm. This chasm was once a volcanic crater which collapsed in on itself. Within it we can find multiple spherical structures, some broken, some still intact. We do see these spheres around Fyena. They are actually filled with water, the larger ones holding entire lakes worth of water in fact. Many of these were on the upper areas around the capsule chasm, but when this volcanic area collapsed in on itself, many rolled down here, shattering, which probably is why there is a shallow lake down here now. This chasm was a challenging area for us to reach, requiring us to use cranes and quite a bit of hiking at first, but we did make it, and it gave us good inspiration for how to tackle similar issues on the next planet. And while we learn much about the place here, there are still questions like, do any of you know what is up with these holes? I would love to hear your thoughts on them, because no matter where I search, I can't find anything, and I'm quite stumped on what could cause them. So if you have any theories or thoughts, tell me about them in the comments. But while the chasm was complex to enter because the climb was challenging, it was fusing my wet that was our most formidable challenge on Fyena. This active volcanic area has basically molten glass all over the place. And last time I checked, adventurers are not fireproof enough to go swimming in lava. So this is where our problem-solving skills were put to the test, with Operation Chilling Away. The solution was to use drones that fly about, basically farting coolant all over the place, causing a sizable area to cool down enough for the molten glass to turn into solidified, not super hot glass. In fact, when it's cooled down, it looks pretty similar to the color of the area around the soda lime float. And with that, we can actually conclude that the soda lime float area was probably at one point hot and molten like this, until it cooled down over a much larger timescale with natural cooling. But with that, we could at last explore our final frontier on Fyena, and with it prove that we can in fact go to a foreign planet and thrive there. Meaning it is time to start looking towards the future. Our final building on Fyena is the Stellascope, which can analyze stars further away than we have ever been able to do before. And this time our goal will be to find a planet that can support life, not just plants or animals, but intelligent life, in the hope of finding either an active civilization or at least the remnants of one. And so, with our best and brightest searching for our next destination, we handled few tasks around the base. This included smaller things like helping an Asgardian glassblower explore the outer edges of our area for some inspiration, stopping our engineers from adding fusion power and sabers to our mechs, and testing some flight paths, and most importantly, securing the future funding for our project. You see, our initiative is funded by the Charlayans, and to keep our funding, we had to convince Councillor Yadeb that our work here is both important and does not put Charlayan in a bad light. This lady is actually Ystola's sister, the oldest of the group in fact. But family friends get no discount on scrutiny. It was only through carefully picked words and our honest opinion and enthusiasm that we managed to show her the value of our work here, and with it secure the funding for our next adventure. And so with funding secured, the resources gathered, and the Stellascope on the lookout for our next destination, there is not much we can do but wait till we can once more board Galactic Way and head to our next cosmic exploration. But tell me, what are your thoughts on Fyena? Did you enjoy the planet, the quests and general activity here? Or do you just like hearing about the lore while not necessarily being much into the crafting and gathering? Let's talk about it in the comments. And while you're there, maybe give the video your commentation by liking and subscribing. I really do enjoy making these videos and I want them to do well, so any interaction from you would be really helpful. Sharing, liking and commenting all do wonders in telling YouTube that this content is worth it. So I hope you're willing to help me. But whatever you do, in the end, all I want to say is tack för att horva, höjde inte släntak.